So my name is Christian Bolander, and I got my undergraduate at Utah State working in the Aero Lab in 2018. My bachelor's in mechanical and aerospace, and then I got my PhD just barely 2023 in mechanical engineering specifically. So I currently am still working at Utah State. I'm a professor of practice, so my job statement is teaching and service. I went to Utah State because I wanted to work on airplanes. I reached out to Dr. Hunsaker because he was one of the only ones that works on aircraft. He and I put together a proposal for ship deck motion, actually trying to predict where the aircraft carrier is going to be at any given time so you can land on it better. And so I was doing this research at the same time as I was working at Hill. And I'd go to Hill for 40 hours a week. And yet, by the time I got home, I wanted to be doing research. And so by the time I finished up my undergrad, I was convinced by Dr. Hunsaker to go into a master's first to try it that way. But financially and goal-wise, I dropped out of my master's my first semester, after my first semester, and went straight into a PhD. So, and it was great decision. When I mean financially, it's not long-term earning potential. It was, they cover your tuition. I had 2 kids at the time. Wife wasn't working that much, and so there was some financial pressure. And this is kind of more of a practical thing, but it ties all this together. Flexible, right? I could be a dad of 3, now 4 kids in the Aero Lab. I wasn't expected to be there, at 2 a.m. And stay until 2 a.m. the next day. We love airplanes in the Aero Lab, and yet I didn't feel like we were learning airplanes necessarily, right? That was the context that we were in. But it really was it was skills. It was becoming I'm trying to think of the right word, the right way to describe this, but a well-rounded engineer, a true engineer. We pay so much respect to these giants of engineering that have come before us, right? The De Laval, the Bernoulli, the Euler, all of those. And I think they were great because of the way they thought, because of the way they approached problems, right? Because of their breadth of experience. And I feel like the Aero Lab culture was a lot more focused on that. Yeah, if you're thinking about go to grad school, go to grad school. Full stop. If it is repugnant to you, the mere idea of going to grad school, don't go to grad school. Right. My recommendation would be to not settle. Make your choice of the school you go to and your advisor very carefully based on what you value. You go to a school for a name, and that's really mostly what you get out of it. They meet with their advisor once every 6 months for them to go, all right, keep doing what you're doing. And whereas here, I was mentored by Dr. Hunsaker. The actual project that you're doing, and I would argue even to a certain extent, the skills you're developing, I think are less important than those relationships that you can build. That's been my experience. I value, even more than the skills I've gotten from the Aero Lab, I value the connections I've been able to make with people in the Aero Lab, where we could achieve high expectations and large goals because we were a unified force, so to speak. The work I'm doing now is not related to aerospace, right? But the same principles, the same problem-solving approaches, the same ways of thinking that I got from my PhD have made me much better at the job that I am doing currently.